Season 4, Episode 6 of Only Murders in the Building is 35 minutes long, and what an episode it is. This episode is titled Blow Up, and we get the backstory and kind of the career trajectory of the brother sisters, how they started off in film, went to film school, and how they got into the aspect of this kind of body horror noir look and feel to their films. We find out that it was Dudenoff who was their professor, their film professor, and that character is played by Griffin Dunne, who you may know starred in An American Werewolf in London and alongside David Naughton. And this just goes into an interesting spiral. Still, I mean, so many questions are kind of answered in this. And then you see cameras recording certain areas and where. Like we see cameras in Oliver's place. We then see certain cameras in other aspects. We then see the building cameras being put in because of the safety issues within the Arconia. But not only that, we find out, and I missed this part, it's because it's the beginning opening scene where the shots were fired and who fired the shot. We find out that Oliver was a target, but they shot Zach Galifianakis and Paul Rudd's character instead, and they both survived. And it's like, all right, what is going on? And then now they're worried. And then in a way you see that Howard is filming his own kind of behind the scenes with Charles, Mabel, and Oliver, and Howard is just filming everything that's happening and going on. After the realization of what happens with Oliver, Oliver calls Loretta and says, I had this epiphany, I feel this thing happening, and I was going to propose to you in Los Angeles, but I didn't. What do you say? And you just hear grunts from Loretta's character, Meryl Streep's character, and it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting and weird. We then see Detective come in, and she basically is kind of, has a bag in her hand, and Detective Donna, and it's like, she's saying, what is going on, what's happening, but she brings the remains of Saz. It's the urn with her remains in it, and it's like, oh, okay. So it's like going on and on and on. Then you have Molly Shannon's character, who is really interesting because she's Bev Melvin, but then you get the kind of craziness backstory of what she did to Zach Galifianakis while he was in the hospital. And she's like, I don't want to be liable for anything, but I need you to sign some waivers here and there, this and that, and more questions need to be answered. All the while, we see Richard Kine's character of Vince Fish and Kumail Nanjiani's character as Rudy kind of playing with a drone. And in a way, the reason that the three of them, including Howard, go to Vince's apartment, is because they're watching a short film that the brother sisters made, and Vince Fish is in it. And then you see that Vince, Rudy, and the brother sisters were kind of all, in a way, in the same film class as the brother sisters, because Dudenoff was their film professor, but he always catered to the brother sisters. And it's like, all right. So that's going on. We see Howard bring in the dog, who is the cadaver dog, who is now his pet. Forgot what the name of the dog was, but then the dog kind of knocks over the remains, and then we see the remains on, the cremation remains on the floor, and then Charles picks up one of the, joints, the replacement joints. Mabel picks one up and says left. So there's both left. It's like, wait a minute. It's not only was Saz killed, someone else was also murdered in the building. So then they go to the brother sisters and say, what is going on? What's happening? What is this with Dudenoff and everything? And they give their whole explanation of the history between them and Dudenoff. And then that big container, that big kind of, suitcase they were carrying, it was all filled with cameras because they were filming a movie within a movie for their documentary behind the scenes, which is really, really interesting. We then find out, instead of Saz being also killed, someone else was killed as well. Not going to reveal who that was. You just have to watch the episode to find out who that is. And after all they're doing that, they find some cameras, but then they find another camera, and it's like it's recording in 720, because the brother sisters don't record in 720. It's more 1080, 1080i. They kind of explain that. But then it's going to Saz's phone, which then the feed is to Charles's phone. And then everything, and then you see everyone is a target. Charles, Oliver, and Mabel, and it's like, What is really, really going on? So then Mabel tells Charles, like, you were right, let's get out of here. So they pack up their things and they leave, and that's the end of the episode. This episode was really easy to follow, and it's just interesting to see how everything is falling. And it's like, what more could you want? Who is cashing the checks in Dudenoff's name? Do Vince and Rudy know that Dudenoff is gone? Is Dudenoff really the father of the brother sisters? That could be interesting. You never know that. And what is all the correlation and connection? And who is shooting everyone? And why do they want Charles Oliver and Mabel dead? What do they know about this entirety of everything? And what is going to happen? And, it's like, whoa, hopefully no other minor characters go. There is a quick little sequence with Uma, one of the residents of the Arconia, which is really quick. She's like, get that camera out of my face. It's so funny how the actress portrays her role and character. Not only that, it's like, all right, where are we going with certain things? Where's the underline? What is the overtop? And what can possibly happen? Now knowing that we know the backstory of the brother-sisters. Loved how it was filmed. Loved the dialogue. Loved how it was delivered. Loved how it was done. It's just the silhouette, the expressionism of the film aspect was there. Whoever wrote this and directed it and knew what they were doing with the fonts, with the headlines, with the 8mm cameras, and just getting that different aspect of cameras going in the rooms are going, Howard's shooting, the brothers sisters are shooting, and then everything is happening at once, and it's like so many things going on at one time. I loved it. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in the few episodes that we have left. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, will we know what happens, or will this continue on into season 5? Or will they wrap this up and then will season 5 be a new murder? Well, we just have to wait and see to find out. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about season 4, episode 6 of Only Murders in the Building, titled Blow Up. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? Do you think the title of it fit this narrative and story? Did you like all the craziness that was going on? Could you follow the storyline? What is the aspect of why were Saz and the other person killed? And what is the connection? Do you think Saz is actually still alive? Who do you think is actually the killer? Because I can't even pinpoint it and pick it out, because I've been wrong so many times in the previous seasons of this series that I just stopped predicting it. And what do you think is going to be the actual reveal? And do you think that this story will close out season 4? Or will it surprisingly leave it on a cliffhanger where it will continue into season 5? Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked. I'm Mr. Filmstock. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you all in the next review video. And be sure you tune in next week to my season 4 episode 7 review of Only Murders in the Building.